Good afternoon. Welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd. Thanks so much for joining us on this midday forecast, whether you're joining us live or whether you're joining us after the fact, kind of focusing on the storm potential and the timing for tonight. We'll also take a look, a quick update on the tropics. We're not going to really touch as much on the cooler temperatures, for lack of a better term, almost kind of in storm mode here in the short term. We'll obviously tackle the cooler temperatures in subsequent forecasts, and also you can check back this morning's forecast in terms of if you're looking for updates there. Here's a look at the satellite, and again, we've seen some afternoon clouds starting to develop across the southern parishes. Now, no big bother right now. And again, for folks that are heading out in the next few hours to high school football games, general thought process is, excuse me, that most of us will probably see fairly limited rain chances through game time tonight. So that's good news. Southern Arkansas may be a little dicey as games wrap up tonight, but again, most of the storm coverage looks to be fairly muted. Look at the satellite radar, and the satellite, and you can see the high clouds kind of moving in across southern Arkansas, but you can also kind of start pinpointing our cold front. As you take a look at the radar, it's a little bit easier to see all that stuff. By the way, today's forecast made possible by Surf Pro Monroe, West Monroe, here to help 24/7 call or click today. You can see the rain starting to stir along the I-30 corridor, just west of the I-30 corridor, and I know a lot of folks are probably thinking, oh no, the rain's getting started early. The front's not really moving yet, so we expect most of the storm potential and the shower potential to stay to our north through a good chunk of the day. As we work deeper into the night, that's when we'll start kind of running into our issues. It's a warm afternoon. Many locations are well back into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees at lunchtime. 88 in El Dorado and Camden, 89 in Monroe, 90 Winfield, 87 in Lake Providence. So again, there's quite a bit of warm air out there. And the dew points are climbing too. Back into the low to mid 70s. It is pretty muggy if you step outside. You've probably noticed the change in air mass as we start to kind of pull up this low level moisture ahead of the cold front tonight. And that kind of feeds what limited ingredients we have in terms of isolated severe storm potential as we head through the overnight. Futurecast, again, made possible by Bayou Power Sports. You can see the scattered storms or isolated storms starting as early as around midnight. That's about as specific as I would like to be on the time frame. And that chance is really a window of opportunity for southern Arkansas to see some storms start bubbling up. Again, generally thinking most of our high school games wrap up right around 10 o'clock, if not before. And I think most of the rain chances are going to be gone or not developed by then. So it'll be a late night storm threat for a good chunk of the area. Then you can see as these storms bubble up and kind of start developing outflow and kind of racing out ahead of the front, expect perhaps a larger cluster of showers and storms during the overnight and early morning hours tomorrow. Again, there will be a subsequent isolated severe weather threat, but the ingredients become more limited as we work deeper into the night. And then as we go through the day on Saturday, behind the front, there may be a few scattered showers or storms that could fester. Not expected to be significant coverage, but the cloud cover will be there. And then as we work towards Sunday, skies start clearing from north to south, especially through the afternoon, and a noticeable cool down after that. Check of what we call storm energy. This is, for the technical term, CAPE, convective available potential energy. Basically, again, how much energy there is in the atmosphere for for storms to work off of. And you can see by 11 o'clock tonight, you start seeing those kind of moderate colors as we have that warm, humid air in place. But I'll put it in motion farther as we work deeper into the morning. And as those storms start moving south and east, you can see the corridor of storm energy out ahead of the showers and storms becomes much more muted. Again, the air starts to stabilize and cool as we head through the overnight. So that warm, humid air that was there early in the evening is becoming more limited, and it doesn't allow for storms to develop and really flourish as much. Now, once we get storms going, there will be the potential for some damaging wind gusts and the possibility of some isolated hail. The severe weather threat updated from the Storm Prediction Center in the last hour or so doesn't really change much. There's a marginal risk for severe weather. This is not expected to be a significant, widespread, prolonged severe weather event. As the storms move into the area late tonight, really early tomorrow morning, it will bring us a very brief window of opportunity, a few hours' time, from probably, I'd say, midnight to about 4 a.m., 5 a.m., where we could see an isolated strong storm or two. Again, damaging wind gusts and hail are a primary concern. The tornado threat is quite low this go-round. I won't say it's zero simply because as we get kind of out of summer and into more fall-like months. Calendar's all kind of messed up. But once we get kind of into that stretch, the tornado threat just kind of lingers there. And it, again, very, very low, but we had a rogue tornado warning last week, so I can't rule it out completely. But again, winds and hail seem to be the primary threats. Periods of heavy rainfall will be a possibility as well. Quick check of the tropical satellite, and you're probably thinking there's not a whole lot going on out there, but we are starting to see a little bit more organization, I would say, with a tropical wave potentially becoming a tropical system in the next, I would think, 3 to 5 days. National Hurricane Center, I believe, is up to 60% in the next 48 hours. I don't think, again, I could be wrong, but overall organization doesn't look overly impressive. Again, just wanted to remind you that it's out there. It's still a long way from anybody, but something that we'll keep an eye on as we head through the next week or so. We've been watching it for the last week or so. Look at Day Planner, and again, partly cloudy skies and temperatures generally hovering in the mid to maybe even the upper 90s in some spots as this front starts to move through. I think it'll be more mid-90s, though. Computer models have continued to kind of back off a little bit, and so most of us will probably see mid-90s kind of peaking in the next few hours. There will be some areas that may even stay in the low end of the 90s. Tonight, lows in the low 70s. Storms will be possible through the overnight hours. Again, keep an eye on the severe weather threat. This will be one of those nights where you make sure you have your severe weather alerts kind of turned on, have your NOAA weather radio handy. Obviously, I acknowledge that the Digital Weather Desk app is not ready yet, but it should be ready very, very soon. It will not be ready tonight, but obviously, as we get kind of deeper into this process, I'll be able to help you out even more in that regard. Look at the 7-day forecast, again, made possible by 3B Outdoor Equipment. And again, mid-90s for highs today. Then the storms move in on Saturday. And beyond that, and most of that's early Saturday, but beyond that, skies clear out. This is an updated forecast compared to where you were this morning. And you can see daytime highs in the mid-80s on Sunday. I would not be surprised for portions of southern Arkansas to get stuck in the 70s on Saturday, upper 70s. I don't think anybody's going to complain about that too much. As we go through the early parts, the middle parts of next week, low to mid-90s for highs then. But another thing to take a look at, highs versus lows. We're still in the 60s for overnight lows, but daytime highs start climbing back into the low 90s, and it's a pretty dry air mass. At least the computer models are suggesting dew points 50s and 60s. So, again, dry air warms up quickly in the afternoon, cools down quickly at night. So that could lead to some larger discrepancies in terms of morning lows and daytime highs. Betty, thanks so much. Susan, thanks so much for joining us, and our friends on YouTube as well. Appreciate you guys joining us this afternoon on the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. That's pretty much all I have for you for now. Obviously, we've got football forecasts coming out in about an hour or so. Ouachita, Sterlington, Alcorn State, Grambling, Tech, ULM have forecasts for all of those. All of our college teams are out of town this week, but we'll have a look at those forecasts wherever you may be headed and a look at the forecast for tonight. Obviously, we'll join you a little bit later on this afternoon into the early evening with an updated look at the forecast for tonight. And if storms start erupting as expected tonight, I'll join you then as well. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. More updates as we go through the rest